I shouldn't be rude to people who know where I am. Wow. Just imagine picking up the phone during a dead, quiet, late-night shift at a gas station and hearing that calm, calculated threat on the other end of the line. It's literally enough to make your blood run cold. But what if I told you that a chilling statement like this isn't just some random prank? It's actually the opening move in a highly coordinated psychological game.
Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're moving past the initial shock of these true night shift horror stories to do something a lot more important. We are going to deconstruct them. By analyzing direct accounts from workers at a gas station, a dive bar, and a late-night Walmart, we're going to decode the exact psychological tactics and coordinated playbooks that predators use when the sun goes down. Let's dive right in and see exactly how they pull this off.
Phase 1. The night shift vulnerability.
Okay, so to understand how these predators operate, we first really need to understand their hunting ground. And every single one of the terrifying encounters we're looking at today begins with the exact same foundational element, the night shift environment itself. Notice the specific vulnerabilities these attackers are looking for. Across all our stories, the workers were dealing with complete physical isolation. The dive bar bartender had no bar back, the gas station attendant was totally alone. Add in repetitive tasks like restocking shelves or wiping down the same counters, and you get this severe mental fatigue. Your guard just naturally drops. Plus, these locations are practically riddled with unmonitored blind spots and dark exits. Think about the dumpster alley at the gas station or that weird warehouse exit at Walmart. The environment itself is actively lowering a worker's natural defenses long before the predator even walks through the front door.
Phase 2. Probing the target.
Now, predators don't just strike blindly, right? They gather data. They want to know exactly who they're dealing with. If we look at the gas station story, we can see exactly how this escalation builds. At 10 p.m., a caller using this fake, cheesy horror movie voice tests the waters. When the attendant reacts sarcastically, the predator escalates. By 10:40 p.m., the caller actually remarks on how quiet the store is, which proves he's watching her. Then at 11 p.m., rapid calls just flood the line, intentionally building up her psychological anxiety. Finally, at 11:40, a silent man enters the store. He buys a single bag of chips, takes a full 9 minutes to do it, and intentionally holds eye contact with his terrifying, knowing smile. He's testing physical proximity. In less than 2 hours, the threat went from a distant phone call to a literal physical stalking event. But probing doesn't always look creepy right away. Sometimes it looks incredibly polished. Take the dive bar story. A sophisticated, well-dressed guy comes in, asks these overly personal questions about the bartender's career goals, and then leaves her a crisp $100 bill for a single drink. Seems super generous, doesn't it? But actually, scratch that. It's totally a probing tactic. He is testing her boundaries, gauging her financial vulnerabilities, and basically setting the stage to make her feel indebted or intrigued.
Phase 3. The Trojan horse tactic. Once a target is probed and deemed vulnerable, predators deployed their most terrifying weapon. See, when we think of a threat, we usually picture, a masked man in a dark alley. We rarely picture a smiling, trendy woman in her mid-30s. But predators know that women are naturally perceived as much less threatening. So by using a female decoy, they completely bypass a target's internal alarm system. They use social pressure and everyday politeness to lure the victim away from the safety of the cameras. It's wild how similar these tactics are. Just look at this breakdown. At the dive bar, the female decoy came in with the guy who left the $100 tip. She immediately complimented the bartender, got super physically touchy, and tried to lure her out to an exclusive private party for 10 grand. At Walmart, a woman ran right out, grabbed the worker's arm, and pretended to be a close friend, saving her from some creepy guy recording her. Both decoys relied heavily on aggressive friendliness and physical touch. And their ultimate goal? To socially pressure the target into stepping outside into a blind spot. Phase 4. Springing the trap.
When the psychological manipulation finally reaches its peak, the illusion shatters. And this right here is the exact predator playbook used in these abduction attempts. Step 1. Isolate the target during low traffic hours. Step 2. Deploy that female decoy to build a false sense of trust. Step 3. Fabricate an urgent excuse like, hey, come to this private party, or, oh my gosh, a man is recording you. And Step 4. Lure them straight to an unmonitored exit. In the Walmart story, the female decoy literally dragged the worker past the safe, populated self-checkout lanes, steering her straight toward the dark, camera-free warehouse shipping exit. And then, the adrenaline-pumping reality hits and the mask drops. For the gas station worker, it was the silent man suddenly speed-walking out of the pitch-black darkness toward her car. At the dive bar, it was the front door clicking shut while masked men actively rattled the back door, trying to flush the bartender out toward a waiting, unregistered black van. And at Walmart, the absolutely terrifying realization hit the worker that her so-called savior was actually tightening her grip, refusing to let go, and leading her right into a trap alongside the very man she claimed to be saving her from.
Phase 5. Surviving the aftermath.
But surviving the physical threat is honestly only half the battle. You know what's incredibly frustrating about these accounts? It's the gaslighting the victims have to endure afterward. Notice the stark contrast in perspectives here. The victim's reality is filled with coordinated kidnappers, unregistered vans, and speed-walking predators. But the boss's reaction? The gas station manager looked at the security footage and basically told the terrified worker that the guy looked like a regular customer, that she just got spooked, and was connecting things that aren't connected. Because security cameras often miss the nuance of predatory eye contact or the creepy tone of a voice, victims are frequently left having to defend their own sanity to management. But the absolute biggest takeaway from all of these accounts is the absolute validity of your intuition. The body senses danger long before the brain has the logical evidence to prove it. The gas station worker felt a heavy, sick feeling in her stomach before the man ever smiled. The Walmart worker felt deep dread before the woman even grabbed her arm. Predators rely on your politeness. They literally count on you feeling too awkward to make a scene. But as these stories prove, waiting around for solid, logical proof of danger before acting can literally be fatal.
The survivors in these stories lived because they eventually just stopped caring about being polite, and they listened to that internal alarm. They ripped their arms away, they locked the doors early, and they ran. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought to ponder today. When you find yourself alone in the dark and your gut is screaming at you to run, would you wait around for proof?